Hi everyone, and welcome back to Whole Life Wellness. Each week we dive into practical ways to improve your life, body, mind, and spirit using diet, movement, mindfulness, and powerful natural remedies. Today we're diving into a topic that affects almost every aspect of male vitality, including strength, energy, mood, and motivation. We're talking about testosterone, what it is, why it matters, and importantly, what is secretly sabotaging it in your daily life. If you found yourself feeling like you have low energy, struggling to gain muscle, or that you're losing muscle mass, lacking in focus, or experiencing low libido, stick around. You might be unknowingly undermining one of your body's most powerful hormones. Now let's get into it. What is testosterone? Testosterone is the primary male sex hormone, although women also produce it in smaller quantities. In men, it's produced mainly in the testes, and its production is regulated by the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland in the brain. And it's responsible for a lot more than just your libido. It plays a critical role in muscle growth and strength, bone density, fat distribution in the body, and mood, confidence, energy, motivation, and importantly, sperm production and fertility. As men age, testosterone levels naturally decline, about 1% per year after the age of 30. But these days, we're seeing drops in testosterone levels even earlier, in men even in their 20s. In a landmark study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, found that testosterone levels in men have been steadily declining by approximately 1% per year since the 1980s. And these were independent of age, obesity, or other health factors. The study stated, and I quote, "We observed a substantial age-independent decline in serum testosterone concentrations in men over the past 2 decades. The estimated decline is about 17% over 20 years, which cannot be explained by changes in age or lifestyle factors alone." This means that a 35-year-old man in 1987 had substantially higher levels of testosterone than a 35-year-old man in 2007. And the trend is continuing today. A more recent analysis published in Neurology Times cited multiple studies showing similar findings, noting that testosterone levels have dropped across all groups and racial backgrounds, raising alarms about men's health. So what can we do to improve the situation? Well, a good place to start is with what you're eating and what you're drinking. They could be crashing your testosterone. So here's a list of 6 testosterone-lowering dietary habits, and this is based on peer-reviewed science. Now, the first one is bottled water. All plastic bottles contain plasticizers such as BPA or bisphenol A, or other plasticizers like phthalates. And these are used in plastic to make them hard and durable. These chemicals, however, are endocrine disruptors, and they mimic or interfere with hormones in the body. Even if the plastic bottle has a label that says it's BPA-free, it will still contain other endocrine disrupting plasticizers. A study in the Environmental Health Perspectives Journal found that BPA exposure significantly lowered testosterone in men. So what can we do to avoid this? We'll use glass or stainless steel water bottles and install a water filter at home, and do not buy water in plastic bottles unless it is for emergency use. Number 2 on the list is refined sugar and high fructose corn syrup. Consumption of sugar and high fructose corn syrup increases insulin resistance and causes inflammation, both of which are linked to lower testosterone. A study in clinical endocrinology found that consuming sugar reduced testosterone levels by 25% within as little as 2 hours. The solution is to remove as much sugar and high fructose corn syrup from your diet as possible. Ditch sugary drinks and eat whole fruit instead of fruit juice. And avoid sugary condiments like tomato sauce and chutney. And try to use non-artificial sugar alternatives like monk fruit extract or stevia. and aim to have at least 1 day a week where your diet is sugar-free. Number 3 on the list is alcohol. Drinking alcoholic beverages, especially beer, raises estrogen levels and damages Leydig cells that produce testosterone. Alcohol also disrupts the hormonal balance and increases the estrogen to testosterone ratio and contributes to fat storage and insulin resistance, leading to the dreaded beer belly and gynecomastia, which is the enlargement of breast tissue in males. There are numerous studies which confirm the effect of alcohol consumption and the consequent suppression of testosterone. The solution is to limit intake to a few drinks per week. Choose dry red wine or spirits over beer if you're going to drink. And if you don't want to give up beer, look for varieties that don't contain hops. And try to have at least 1 day a week which is completely alcohol-free. Number 4 on the list is beans and legumes. Beans and legumes contain phytoestrogens. These are plant compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. They also contain anti-nutrients, which are naturally occurring compounds that interfere with the absorption of key minerals and nutrients such as zinc, magnesium, calcium, and iron, some of which are essential for testosterone production and hormonal health. A review in the Journal of Steroid Biochemistry and Molecular Biology cautioned that regular intake of beans and legumes may disrupt the hormonal balance in men. The solution is to eat beans and legumes in moderation, or ideally just eliminate them from your diet entirely. Number 5 on the list is eating a low-fat diet. Testosterone is a steroid hormone, and it's synthesized directly from cholesterol and dietary fat. Low-fat diets deprive the body of essential fatty acids and fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K2 that are critical for hormone production. Saturated fats and monounsaturated fats in particular are linked to higher testosterone. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that reducing dietary fat significantly lowered testosterone levels. And a further study in the Journal of Steroid Biochemistry and Molecular Biology found that men who switched from a high-fat diet, getting around 40% of their total calories from fat, to a low-fat diet where they're getting 20% or less of the calories from fat, experienced a 12% decrease in testosterone after only 6 weeks. The solution is to make sure you include adequate healthy fats for hormonal health in your diet. Eat quality saturated fats like grass-fed butter, ghee, coconut oil, pasture-raised eggs, and red meat. And make sure you're getting monounsaturated fats from sources like avocados, olive oil, macadamia nuts, and pumpkin seeds. And make sure you're getting enough omega-3s from sources like fatty fish, such as salmon and sardines, and eggs. It's also important to note there are some fats you definitely want to avoid. For example, trans fats found in processed and fried foods have been directly associated with lower testosterone levels and poor sperm quality. And eating excess omega-6 oils found in soybean, corn, canola, and sunflower oils creates inflammatory conditions that suppress testosterone. Ideally, eliminate all seed oils from your diet. And if you are eating salmon as a source of omega-3, ensure it is wild caught, and do not eat any farmed fish. So to make sure you're supporting optimal testosterone production, keep your fats to at least 25% of total calories. Prioritize quality and focus on natural, unprocessed, organic animal fat sources like butter, eggs, ghee, and red meat. And avoid low-fat diets, especially long-term. Number 5 on the list is wheat and gluten. Wheat, especially in refined forms like white bread, pasta, and pastries, can contribute to chronic inflammation and hormonal imbalance in men. Gluten, a protein found in wheat, may increase intestinal permeability, which causes leaky gut, and trigger autoimmune reactions. This compromises nutrient absorption, especially of zinc, selenium, and vitamin D, all of which are critical for testosterone production. Additionally, wheat contains phytoestrogens. These are plant compounds that bind to estrogen receptors and potentially disrupt the androgen-estrogen balance in men, leading to elevated estrogen activity, which suppresses luteinizing hormone, which is a signal from the brain that tells your testes to produce more testosterone. A study in the World Journal of Gastroenterology found that men with untreated celiac disease had significantly lower testosterone and androgen levels, many showing signs of hypogonadism. And a study in the Clinical Endocrinology Journal also reported that gluten sensitivity was linked to reduced absorption of key micronutrients for hormone synthesis. Additional research has shown that phytoestrogens in wheat germ can alter hormone receptor activity in a way that may suppress endogenous testosterone production. So the solution is say no to wheat and bread in your diet. And if you eat grains, choose organic, naturally gluten-free grains like quinoa, rice, or buckwheat. If you have any gut issues, autoimmune issues, or unexplained low testosterone, consider eliminating wheat from your diet for 30 days and then tracking your energy, mood, and libido, as well as your digestion, to assess if wheat or gluten may be the problem. Now, modern life is filled with silent saboteurs that lower testosterone, not just through what we eat and drink, but also by how we live day to day. So next, let's break down the 5 most common habits that drain your testosterone levels, and importantly, how to reverse them. So first, it's poor quality sleep or insufficient sleep. And the reason why this suppresses testosterone is testosterone production is tightly linked to your circadian rhythm. And production peaks during uninterrupted REM sleep, especially in the early hours at around 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. And even partial sleep restriction or disrupted sleep cycles can cause a significant drop in total and free testosterone levels. A study in JAMA found that men who sleep only 5 hours per night for 1 week had a 10 to 15% drop in daytime testosterone levels, which is the equivalent to aging 10 to 15 years or more. So what can we do to prevent this? Firstly, prioritize getting 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep per night. Maintain a consistent sleep-wake schedule, even on weekends if possible. And practice good sleep hygiene and avoid screens for 90 minutes before bed. And if you struggle to sleep, try supplements like magnesium, threonate, L-theanine, or a calming herbal tea blend to support restful sleep. Next one is a sedentary lifestyle, and this has very significant impacts on testosterone levels. And the reason why it hurts testosterone is a sedentary life decreases your insulin sensitivity. It promotes abdominal fat gain, and it lowers androgen receptor density, making testosterone less effective even when levels are normal. It also causes sarcopenia or muscle loss, and less muscle means lower testosterone levels. A study published in the Obesity Journal showed that men with higher abdominal fat had significantly lower free and total testosterone, regardless of age. So what can we do about this? Well, make sure you're strength training. Aim for 3 to 4 times per week. And when you're training, focus on compound movements like squats, deadlifts, pull-ups, and bench press. Incorporate walking and stretching and mobility exercises on your off days to support blood flow, flexibility, and reduce systemic inflammation. If you have a desk job, try to get up and move every 45 minutes to an hour. And try to get some movement in your lunch breaks for 10 or 15 minutes if possible. The next one on the list is chronic stress. And the reason why this impacts testosterone is chronic stress increases cortisol, the stress hormone that competes with testosterone with the same building blocks like pregnenolone, effectively stealing resources away from testosterone production, a phenomenon known as pregnenolone steal. Cortisol also blunts the release of luteinizing hormone from the pituitary gland, which is needed to signal testosterone production in the testes. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that chronically elevated cortisol suppressed total testosterone by up to 40%. So what can we do to avoid this? Try to practice daily relaxation activities like deep breathing exercises, cold water immersions, nature walks, mindfulness, and meditation practices. Reduce your stimulant intakes, for example, caffeine, and especially avoid them later in the afternoon. And block out time in your schedule for recovery and rest, not just for productivity. And the next one on the list is exposure to endocrine disrupting chemicals in your environment. And the reason this is so detrimental to testosterone is while you might not see them, these endocrine disrupting chemicals are all around us. They can be found in cleaning products, food packaging, receipts, pesticides, and non-stick cookware. And these are chemicals like bisphenol A, phthalates, PFOAs, and PFAS, and triclosan. And they can mimic estrogen or block androgen receptors, throwing your hormone balance into chaos. Studies have shown that exposure to endocrine disrupting chemicals leads to reduced testosterone levels, lower sperm count, and impaired testicular function. So where are these chemicals found most often? Well, first of all, it's plastic containers and bowls. It can also be found in canned foods due to the BPA-lined interior of cans. Non-stick cookware also leaches these into your food. And air fresheners and synthetic fragrances and perfume will also expose you to these chemicals. It's also found in conventional cleaning products and personal care products. So what can we do about this? We'll switch to glass and stainless steel food containers wherever possible. Opt for natural personal care and cleaning products. Choose organic produce to reduce pesticide exposure and get rid of all of your non-stick cookware and use stainless steel or cast iron instead. And try to avoid handled receipts as they're coated in BPA. Filter your tap water and avoid microwaving and heating food in plastic containers. Ideally, avoid using microwaves at all as they are terrible for your health. This isn't paranoia. It's taking back control of your internal environment, and your body, hormones, and the planet will be better off for it. So now you know what testosterone is, why it's essential for energy, strength, and masculinity, what foods and habits sabotage it, and what you can do to support it. Testosterone really is the fuel of male vitality, and while modern life works overtime to deplete it, you have the tools to reclaim it. By eating clean, moving daily, sleeping deeply, and managing stress, you're not just raising your testosterone, you're becoming the strongest, most resilient version of yourself. If this video was valuable, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with a brother who needs this message. And drop your questions in the comments and let me know what topic you want me to cover next. Until then, stay strong, stay sharp, and take care of the temple.